Hey y'all, Jamie here, proud 54-year-old trans woman from New Orleans. So, where we left off yesterday, I had partied with the Grateful Dead at the My Oh My in the French Quarter. And I had gone home in a cab, put in there by Terry, passed out drunk, woke up the next morning to discover that the cab driver had molested me while I was blacked out. So, lesson learned. Well, actually, lesson not learned. Lesson far from learned, obviously, or I would have sobered up in those days. So life settles in at the London Lodge, because we were there. We stayed at the London Lodge maybe 6 months, something like that, 4 to 6 months, I would say. And during that time, Damon and I's relationship, we were too young. We were just too young, and we made so many mistakes with one another with that puppy love stuff. We just did. And there was a young couple that moved in across the hall from us at the London Lodge. And the girl's name was Gloria, and I really don't remember the guy's name, but her boyfriend. Anyway, so Gloria was a dancer in the French Quarter. She was a cis girl, and she was a dancer in the French Quarter, and her boyfriend and her had moved in, and Damon and I became friends with them. And Damon and the guy, her boyfriend, started hanging out together in the French Quarter while me and her were working. And then after work, we would all hang out. Terry was off kind of running around doing her own thing, and everybody was kind of living their own lives at this particular moment. And so one night, we're sitting there, and we decided to play quarters. Yeah, the old drinking game, quarters. And so Gloria and her boyfriend and me and Damon are sitting around. And for Damon's birthday, I had a picture that was taken of me on stage at Papa Joe's, the Female Impersonator Club on Bourbon Street. I had taken a picture there one night. A customer had taken a picture of me there one night and had given it to me. And Damon loved this picture, and I had it blown up into a poster for him for his birthday. And it was framed and hanging in our hotel room. Okay. So we're sitting there playing quarters. We're getting drunker and drunker, and, we're cutting up and laughing. And then Gloria's boyfriend looks at me and says, "What is your problem?" And I said, "Excuse me?" And I said, "Dude, I don't know who you think you're talking to, but I'm not your old lady. Don't try to handle me any kind of way." And he looked at Damon and said, "Man, your old lady's being a fucking bitch." And Damon said, "Yeah, she can be a bitch sometimes." And I was like, "Excuse me?" I said, "Oh, you think I can be a bitch sometimes?" I stood up. I said, "Allow me to introduce you to a bitch." And I grabbed the poster off the wall, and it was in a glass frame. And I slammed it over Damon's head, and he wore it like a collar. The thing broke over his head, and it was like something out of a cartoon. He was wearing the picture around his neck like a collar. Yeah, not proud of this. I'm not saying it like, go me. It just was what it was. We ended up fighting out in the parking lot. Gloria and her boyfriend went home, And then on another night, okay, that was that night. Then on another night with this same couple, Damon brings home the guy, her boyfriend, and he says, "Yeah, me and him, they had turned a trick together." Okay. And the trick had wanted 2 guys, so they had both gone with him, and they had turned the trick with him. And apparently, this date wanted a champagne enema, and Damon had never heard of that before. Frankly, at that point, it was my first time hearing about it. And he was all laughing and like, talking about it and about how it supposedly goes straight into your blood. Supposedly, it does go straight into your bloodstream and get you really loaded. And then Damon was drunk, and he started like messing around with me while her boyfriend was there. And I was like, "Damon, what are you doing?" And he pulls the covers off of me and says, No, let me show him. Wanting to show him what's between my legs. And I was like, "What the hell is going on?" And he was like, "Come on, I think he wants to go down on you. Come on, you want to go down on her, don't you? She's got a really pretty one." And I was like, "Excuse me?" First of all, that wasn't really what I was into, I can assure you. The fact that I even let people go down on me was like, a big deal for me because I was really fucking dysphoric about it. So yeah, when he did that, we had another major fight. And I was like, I don't know what the hell you're trying to do here, but this is just not fucking working for me. And so I went out another night, and yeah, this is all happening with over a few weeks. And I go out another night, and I got so drunk, and I was introduced to a new pill I had never taken before back then, called Xanax. Yeah, Xanax. And I mixed Xanax with drinking shots of wild turkey and chasing it with beer. And I proceeded to eat Xanax like they were Tic Tacs sitting at the bar. And Miss Dew, who worked at, I was at the Double Play, or Gregory's, whatever it was called at that time. It's been the Double Play, the Wild Side, Gregory's, you name it. It's called the Crossing now. Anyway, the lady that owned it was Miss Dew. And Miss Dew was like, girl, you're really messed up. You need to go home. And I remember getting in the cab to go home, and I remember I knocked on the door to my room because I couldn't find my key. And that was the last thing I remembered. And what happened was, I passed out, and my heart stopped, and I stopped breathing. And if you want to know what happened next, y'all know the routine. Be here tomorrow, and I will too. I love you all for watching. I love you for all the comments. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.